Ebonyi State, a state in the southeast geopolitical zone of Nigeria, is primarily an agricultural region, which is said to be leading in rice, yam and cassava produce. The political atmosphere of Ebonyi State is pleasantly being applauded by the people of the state due to the dividends of democracy being enjoyed in recent times. Well, your guess is as good as mine, as on issues today we will beam our searchlights on Ebonyi State in terms of development, infrastructure, security, agriculture, governance and much more. Please stay tuned. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Now, what is the story of Ebonyi and what magic wand is behind the gradual but steady progress of the states? These are some of the questions we'll be answering on issues today. I am Ifoma Ojinta, your anchor, urging you to stay tuned as we'll be right back. Thank you very much for staying tuned. And joining us on set to share with us the story of growing and progressive states is none other but the Commissioner for Information, Ebonyi States, Orji Uchenna. It's good to have you on issues today, sir.
Thank you very much.
Now, we want to know, before we start, briefly, what is the story of Ebonyi State?
Ebonyi State now garners a story of transformation brought about by one man God gave to the people of Ebonyi State. Ebonyi was created in 1996, of course, one of the last states that were created by the military. And we have had a successive government, especially civilian governments. And there came a governor who became the third civilian governor of Ebonyi State in 2015. And at that time, we had so many things counting against Ebonyi State. We are the last in terms of development. We are also having nothing at all in terms of infrastructure. Our human capital development was in the state of, it was in deficit. And again, I can say that we had inferiority complex because we had nothing to offer, nothing at all. And when the governor came on board, it became a challenge to him. So he rolled out programs on how to aggressively, speedily, and constantly tackle issues of development so that we can contend with our contemporaries.
Okay.
And so the governor looked at the critical sectors of the economy. Infrastructure is one of them. Going forward in infrastructure, the governor had to address the issue of deficit in road infrastructure. Before then, we had nothing at all. Coming to Ebonyi State was like going to hell. We had no road at all. We had nothing to show. It was a dusty, rather, state instead of a sort of the nation that it is known for. But the governor came, identified the nooks and crannies of the state. Today, as I speak with you, every road coming to Ebonyi State, whether federal or state road, has been done by the governor of Ebonyi State. Okay. If you are coming from Enugu to Ebonyi State, it's a smooth ride. We are coming from Cross River or from Abia or Imo State or even from Benue. How you know you are coming to Ebonyi State is that you will be greeted with wonderful road. And to couple with this wonderful road, the governor also had to open up the various local government areas. Every local government has at least 25-kilometer road done by the governor. And I can tell you that it's through a concept that is called concrete pavement that has never been done by any government in the history of this country. Now, in addition to this, the governor also is chaining or linking 8 major local government areas, especially agrarian local government areas, with about 189-kilometer road. That is a World Bank state government project that is ongoing now. When it is completed, it will do a lot in developing the rural communities to make for agricultural development. Now, what else did the governor do? The governor feels that we should begin to do a lot of businesses in Ebonyi State. And so he had to put street lights. Every kilometer, every local government has 20-kilometer street lights. And of course, the metropolis, not less than 90% of the streets have street lights. And this street light is 12 hours non-stop. The governor continued and began to identify structures that will make for economic development. So he had to build an international market that is the single biggest international market in the whole of the Southeast, and one of the 3 biggest in Nigeria, that is located along the Trans-Saharan Highway. If you are coming from Enugu going towards Cross River, linking to Cameroon, it's a very big market that is located there. And the governor moved further. Of course, in 2016, what he did was to lay a foundation for what is called the face of Ebonyi State. That is 4-way light tunnel. The moment you come to that very point, you appreciate that you are in a new Ebonyi State. This light tunnel is named after President Muhammad Buhari because he was the one that did the foundation laying.
Okay.
And I can tell you that in addition to this 4-way light tunnel, we have chains of flyovers, 3 flyovers at that. As I speak with you today, but State has 14 number flyovers, 2 twin flyovers, having an average of 23 span. And I can tell you that apart from Abuja and Lagos, the state with the highest number of flyovers in the whole country is Ebonyi State. The idea of the governor is that with time, investors should come. And when they come, they shouldn't have any inconvenience of traffic, inconvenience of, not knowing how to, transport, their goods. Now, in addition to this, the governor also went into construction of international airport. His concept is that this airport should be fashioned after Abuja and Lagos International Airport. Okay. And he's thinking that it's going to be the best airport that Southeast, South, even North Central should have as a catchment area.
Okay, it's an ongoing project?
It's an ongoing project.
Okay. I see you talk, with so much passion, and while you were speaking, you said you don't know the secrets. But then, residents of the FCT, particularly, people from your state, Ebonyi State, who are residents here, would really want to know what is the secrets behind this gradual but steady development.
I call it speedy and steady development.
Okay.
The secret is passion for service. I've never seen a man as passionate as Governor Umahi in the service of his people. And another secret is the issue of fear of God. There's a man who believes that whatever you do, you must have the fear of God. He also has zero tolerance for corruption.
Okay.
He hates waste in governance. And he also believes that quality assurance is the way to go. Monitoring and evaluation is not all about, giving a contract or, executing project, but it has to be monitored so that the objectives of that project will be actualized. Okay. And I want to also say that the governor also has the energy, has the zeal to really deliver the dividends of democracy to the people of Ebonyi State. Okay. Again, he also had to, engage, men and women that are very much ready to work passionately to ensure that the people are given the right service.
Okay. Now let's shift our attention to agriculture. Now, in the opening, we heard that Ebonyi State is leading in rice production as well as yam and cassava. What can you tell us, more in terms of achieving food security in the state?
The governor, when he came on board, he identified agriculture as one of the priority areas that needed attention. So what did he do differently? He began to commercialize agriculture and mechanize agriculture. And he had to introduce what is called 1 man, 1 hectare program. That is to say, if you're a civil servant or if you're a public servant, it is compulsory that you must do a 1 hectare or equivalent of 1 hectare in terms of cost, whether in animal husbandry, whether in farming, whether in primary production, secondary production, or tertiary production in agriculture. And the governor will now give you assistance, give you other facilities in some cases or grant in order to go into such programs. And in doing this, he introduced a lot of empowerment programs, but it's going to be in agri-related programs. Okay. And so he did women and youth empowerment program, where he rolled out 750 million grants free of charge and gave 250,000 per person for 3,000 number,
Wow.
using women to go into agriculture or agri-related businesses. Now had to develop another program that is called Wives of Security Officials Empowerment Program. These are the wives of our security officials, 90% of whom are not even indigent, just to enable them complement the efforts of their husbands and of course their spouses in their families. And again, in addition to this, the governor had to expand our rice production facility. So today we have Africa's biggest rice milling plant that is having 32 metric ton capacity per hour, and it's government owned. And so that every rice production that you have done, every cultivation that you have done, you can be sure that there'll be a buyback and it will be processed. And this rice milling plant has what is called a parboiling plant that's about 8 metric ton capacity per hour. And this parboiling plant will now feed the rice with parboiled rice. And apart from this, the governor also had to expand the fertilizer blending plant. We used to have a 40 metric ton capacity per hour fertilizer blending plant. Of course, it was in a state of moribund when the governor came on board. So he had to reactivate that. And now further expanded by procuring another 40 metric ton capacity fertilizer blending plant. That is a total of 80 now. And it is participating in the presidential agricultural programs. And I can say that it has also boosted programs in Ebonyi State. Now, apart from this, the governor also does partner with federal government, donor agency development partners, the CBN, the Bank of Industry, to ensure that our farmers are funded, to ensure that the right seeds, and of course farming materials are provided for the farmers in Ebonyi State. This has actually increased production of rice, of course, even production of yam and cassava in Ebonyi State.
Yes, talking about yam and cassava, Ebonyi State is widely known for rice production, particularly the Abakaliki rice. But then, how much has the state gone in yam and cassava? Do you farm these produce for exports as well?
Yeah, what government did was to identify crop commodities that are of comparative advantage to Ebonyi State. And in doing that, the government made the production of rice compulsory. And so the other crop commodities are taken as elective.
Okay.
If you're in the classroom. And so you may either elect to go into cassava production, yam production, even animal husbandry. But then rice is our major. And so today we have had a boost in cassava production. Of course, what government did was to also procure cassava milling plant, to ensure that whatever is produced from the farm can be milled or can be processed, and that has really increased the food security agenda of Ebonyi State. And again, that has made for self-reliance. A lot of people, instead of going into politics, they can now have a choice of going into farming. And of course, we are looking at mechanized farming. And I can say that today is better than yesterday in the area of farming in Ebonyi State.
Okay. Let's look at the issue of unemployment, which is, a problem in our society today. What is the government of Ebonyi State doing in terms of tackling the issue of unemployment, and how do you engage youths in the state?
Ebonyi State today is a construction site. What government does is to engage indigenous and non-indigenous who are resident in Ebonyi State in our construction work all over the place. And I can tell you that both skilled, non-skilled, and semi-skilled labor are drawn from Ebonyi State. We don't have issues of capital flight because we're engaging our labor force into the various services that we are rendering in Ebonyi State. Today we have Africa's biggest University of Medical Sciences. I'm not exaggerating. You need to come and see it. Very beautiful. Who are the people that did it? It's Ebonyi people. Whether you're Ebonyi or non-Ebonyian, but you are living in Ebonyi State. And this has increased, kind of employment, whether it is permanent employment or temporary employment. Again, in addition to this, empowerment programs of Ebonyi State government has really engaged most of our youth and women, because we know that all there is not for white collar job. After how much are people making in a month? What's the minimum wage? But if you go into farming through our various empowerment programs, you can be sure that if you are going into 1 hectare minimum, which is the policy of Ebonyi State government, you can be sure that you'll be making $500,000 in a year. That is the benchmark, and that has really helped our people to be self-reliant, to be self-sufficient. Of course, we are also doing a lot to provide employment in terms of civil service when the need arises. Okay. Just last December, we made adverts, and we shortlisted a number of youth women for employment. We're looking at 5,000 number employment opportunities in civil service, about 3,000 at the state level and 2,000 at the local government level. And the process is ongoing. Very soon, the successful applicants will be absorbed in the civil service. This has actually helped. Again, I want to say that we are actually tapping into every federal government empowerment program, social investment program, even the CBN intervention programs. And we are getting our youth and women to go into businesses, not only in agriculture, but even also in entrepreneurship programs. And that's why we had to institute a vocational college. We also have agricultural program, kind of agricultural institutes where people come to learn on how to, go into modern agriculture. Then we also have what is called stimulus development program. This stimulus development program is a program targeted at harvesting our best brains, our talented ones, even graduates, even school start holders, even teachers who are the best.
Let's talk about education, that is academics now. Before now, you said the people of Ebonyi State are timid, but now we hear that they begin to see the importance of education. Can you shed more light on how you're able to achieve that?
Yeah, the governor also took education as a critical sector that must be addressed. And so he began by identifying the infrastructural needs in the education system. So every ward has at least 2 modern classroom blocks, and we also have special schools, that government gave a lot of attention. Now, in addition to this, government has also done a lot, to give scholarship, to give incentives to, even teachers, and give scholarship to students and pupils through our Talent Hunt initiative.
Okay.
That has really motivated our people to go into school. Of course, we introduced what is called Out of School Children program, which is aimed at getting on board out of school children, getting them back to school, giving them free and compulsory education. Of course, they have to be counseled, they have to be, be monitored. And this has really helped in bringing not less than 15,000 students who were once out of school, bringing them back. And I want to say that today, Ebonyi State is no longer educationally less privileged because of the programs of government. In the history of Ebonyi State, for the first time, Ebonyi State became one of the 10 best states in the area of WAEC.
Wow.
JAMB had its education index in 2017, and a student from Ebonyi State, became the best in the whole Nigeria in medicine and surgery in JAMB. Also, even NUC made also an analysis about the best local government out of the 774 local government areas in Nigeria in 2017, in terms of highest number of people that got admission. And a local government in Ebonyi State came first. Wow. So these are indicators showing that Ebonyi State is actually doing a lot in the area of education. Very
commendable, sir. Let's take a break now. You're watching Issues on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. The discussions continues in a moment. Please stay with us. Thank you very much for rejoining us. The program is Issues on NTA Channel 5 Abuja, and today we are taking a look, or a holistic look, at Ebonyi State. And still with me in the studio is the Commissioner for Information, Ebonyi State, Oji Uchenna. Now, before the break, we're talking about the education achievement of the state, which was quite commendable. Let's talk about the issue of insecurity. What is the story of insecurity in Ebonyi State, which is really ravaging the southeast as we speak.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Ebonyi State is not an exception in the security situation that we are having in the southeast, especially because of the agitations by these non-state actors, the case of IPO. But what our government did was to really identify the issues, to identify also the persons involved. So we now carried out very, proactive sensitization process, talking to them, getting to the traditional rulers to talk to their subjects, talking to the religious leaders to speak out, talking to the union leaders to speak out, and of course all stakeholders. And of course through different platforms, including through radio programs and advocacies, the people are getting to appreciate that there's no need, no matter what is the agitation, to destroy what we have. Now they're beginning to appreciate that we have Governor Messiah who has come to put Ebonyi State in the map of the developed cities of the world. And so there's no need sabotaging that very effort of the governor. And that's why today, as I speak with you, we are going about our normal business. If you come to Southeast, you will hear about sit at home on Mondays, but in Ebonyi, there is nothing like that.
Okay.
And we commend all concerned for heeding to that clarion call, not to carry, laws into our hands, not to attack anybody. Yeah, recently we have issues, pockets of what I call a hit and run kind of attack, where from time to time you see a security official being shot dead, individuals also. But we are doing a lot of due diligence in the intelligence to ensure that we unravel the very circumstance. Perhaps it may not totally come from IPOP, maybe from enemies of the state who wouldn't want peace. And we are looking at all of these things. In some places we had communal clashes. We are doing a lot to handle the situation through sensitization processes, through a serious separative engagement process. Our governor has been up and doing, talking directly, because the man is so accessible. If you send him a text right now, he will reply you the next minute. And that has helped him to, he's like omnipresent, he's everywhere. So wherever there is an issue, the next moment he tackles it. And I can say that Ebonyi is relatively peaceful, compared to other neighboring states.
Okay.
And we are very happy that our people are listening to the government of Ebonyi State.
Okay, there is a very worrisome trend now in the southeast. The intake of drugs by the youths, particularly one which is trending now. They call it crystal mbulu, as they say in Igbo. What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, it's part of what we are doing as government, because for us to address squarely the root cause of insecurity, violence, we need to really identify all of these factors. Mbulumini is one of them. What we have done is to get committees in the various local government areas and evangelists too, assembling them together to go to different schools through Catch Them Young program, talking to them at the primary school level, secondary school level, in the churches, telling them of the implication of going into hard drugs. Mbulumini, not an exception. We have also engaged of course, security agencies, giving them, mandate to ensure that whoever does offend the law, whoever does go into all of those hard drugs should be fetched and should be, handled in line with the provisions of the law. Of course, we are making further laws to ensure that we tackle some of these eventualities, and we are sure that that is making an impact as I speak with you.
Now, in the news of recent, there was an issue of child trafficking, which is also rampant in the southeast. And there was one case in Ebonyi State we heard of. What is your governor doing to ensure that these things are really curtailed?
Yeah, it's part of the functions of Ebubago. Ensure that criminals, no matter the form, no matter the type of activity they are carrying on, as far as they are criminals, that they are really arrested, that they are really fetched wherever they may be. So every case of child trafficking, but you need to know that some of them are people passing by, people on transit through Ebonyi State. So the security agencies, especially Bubago, will always, handle the situation, and we'll keep preaching to the people to know that we have other better means of livelihood instead of going through illicit means of livelihood.
Okay, let's go into politics now. How would you describe the political situation or politics generally in Ebonyi State?
In Ebonyi State, the government and people of Ebonyi State are in APC. And they're happy to be in APC because APC is the government and the party at the center. And again, APC will help the Southeast to mainstream. We believe that APC will also offer Southeast the opportunity to produce the next president. And so the people of Ebonyi State, and indeed the Southeast, are waxing strong in APC. And I can say that there is no problem in terms of politics. The environment is okay, the situation is fine, except a few people that feel that our going to APC is like shooting them on the leg. So they are crying foul, alleging this and that against Ebonyi State government. But we can be sure that Ebonyi State is very peaceful, politically speaking. My boss, the governor of Ebonyi State, His Excellency Engineer Chief David Umezumai, has declared that he intends to contest for the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is for the people of Nigeria to look at his credentials, to look at his performance. For us, 2023 is a defining moment. We don't need to, choose somebody just because he's from our place or because he has money. But we need to look at the track record. For us, we need to also look at the zeal, the passion. We need to look at the person's ability to deliver. It's very important. And we also need to look at somebody who can unite this country, somebody who is like a bridge builder, somebody whom the North can trust, the West can trust, the Southeast can trust. And I think we have this personality in our dear governor.
All right. Thank you very much, Commissioner for Information, Ebonyi State, Oji Uchenna. It's been indeed a pleasure having you on Issues. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
And I must say you are what we call a reporter's delight anytime, any day. Thank you once again.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, that's Issues for this week. We thank you for being part of our production. Let's do this again, same time, same station next week. Bye for now.